Good evening, folks. I am Cyber, joined by Weapon. We are here for Week 3 of the OS Backyard League. We're in Division 1 tonight, Weapon. We got a little bit of a bottom-of-the-table matchup looking at. We got Emperors Never Surrender versus SMITE, Hardly Know Her.
Yeah, it should be a bit of a fun one. Of course, yeah, it is bottom of the barrel, but it is the early days. So both these teams do have a lot to fight for, and as much as we say bottom of the barrel, I was looking at the standings. One of these teams, which you can see scrolling at the top of your screen, Emperors Never Surrender, are just 1-1. So it's really a bit of I think a gut check for SMITE Hardly Know Her, who are now sitting at 0-2, and I think it's really their time to show that they actually have what it takes to hang in this league.
Yeah, I think you make a great point there. The way, by the time we get to Week 3, the schedule and the standings look, it's kind of that scrum of 1-1 teams. There's not really much stratification going on. There's not much separation between the tiers. And like you said, it's kind of a put up or shut up moment for SMITE here, because they could very quickly prove themselves, already not having a single game win on the season, to be that bottom of the barrel team if they don't show us something here tonight.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, you don't want to go 0-3 at the start of the season. Definitely not what you want to see. So we'll see what they can bring out. These are a couple of teams that I don't personally, going into this thing, I don't have a lot of tape on. Of course, there's some players that I do know very well going into it. Of course, Lysaea playing mid for the Emperors, and Envy subbing in for the bot lane, which will probably be the big story. We'll be talking about that one a lot, how he's going to perform. But the rest of the squads on really both sides, outside of those two players, are real unknowns. So it should be fun. I also want to quickly say to anyone who has already tuned in, first of all, thanks for joining us. And I apologize if this is scuffed. This is a real two-man operation, both of us operating. I'm the one operating the stream while doing the casting. So we're here to have some fun. Let's have some fun.
And if there's one thing I really appreciate about the culture you guys have down there in the upside down part of the world, as I refer to it, it's that you guys really do know how to have fun. I love the vibes of this league. Casting and hosting amateur is always a good time. So, shanty operation or not, I'm very excited to get into the game and see what we have in front of us here tonight.
Yeah, it's always a barrel of giggles down here. And I got to say, so a lot of people in chat are going to be mad at me, but for me, it's OCE, not OS. I know, or OSH. I know there's a lot of debate on the subject, but I hate the way OSH feels in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't like that soft SH sound. It's definitely not OSH. I think OCE or OS is acceptable, but not my side, not my hemisphere. So yeah, I leave this in your judgment.
You get it nice and easy. You've just got NA, which is it's very chill. You just rattle that one off.
Nah, near airport.
Near airport. Yeah, that was a good time. We are just waiting for the players to get into lobby. I am looking at a bunch of our players. Looks like we've got about 6 in lobby, so it shouldn't be too far away. Apparently, we've been told before going into the stream that one of our players is feverishly pedaling his way home, presumably after work. So we'll see if he actually makes it.
It's a predicament that I empathize with and I shared. I work a very strange job here in North America, so it's 3:30 in the morning for me, and I just got off of work as well. Got home, and it's some nice intercontinental brotherhood bonding us all together here as we wait for these games to start. I guess we can spend some time while we are waiting to sort of talk up the new season and some of the changes that we've seen coming in, what we can expect from the games tonight in terms of meta and priorities and whatnot. Have you been watching a whole lot of a whole lot of coordinated play since the new season started?
Yeah, a little bit. And of course, I've been casting this league, so I mean, it's not exactly pro, but we know some of the tendencies of the players at this level. I mean, the big thing I think everyone's really going to be focusing on is, of course, just how much faster the game is. Home guards, obviously, a very big deal. But then also Dusk and Dawn just kind of transforming a bunch of champions overnight into absolute powerhouses. So, yeah, a lot of changes coming in.
The Scepter of Bonking.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful addition to this season, in my not so informed opinion. I love my off-meta stuff. I love any item that lets me do silly things. I like Phase Rush Tahm Kench Top with the Scepter, and applying some tasty stacks on people that maybe I shouldn't, in a balanced world, get off.
Yeah. It's pretty grim. The lick slurp combo is pretty nasty. I'm a big fan of the item as well. And probably for the same reason. It kind of just feels like it's a little you're kind of cheating here. So I think we've got everyone ready to go. So I'm just going to tell the players that we can start whenever.
Sounds like a plan. I am sort of excited as, this is my first game here at the O's Backyard League, and I do want to see. The fun thing with amateur leagues is you always get to see what makes individual players tick, what are the unique strategies that work at this level that you might not get to see elsewhere. I think of teams in the past that I've cast in NA that have pocket picks like the Aatrox support, and I'm always waiting to see what the sort of regional special sauce in any given league will be.
Okay. So I've been told that we're drafting via browser, so I'm just going to get that set up. One thing I did not get done. Great news.
I think in that case, we can throw it back over to a quick idle screen for a moment, and we will rejoin you guys shortly when we have the draft up and ready. So stay tuned.
You're so kind
Very
to me.
quickly getting into game here.
All right. Won't be too long.
All right, fair enough.
There we go.
All right, here we are on the draft screen, already underway into the draft, and it's the Kale First Pick. Yes, that's I think how words work. It's the Kale first pick on blue side. Gonna be counted out pretty quickly by the Jax Pantheon Slamdown.
All right. So yeah, this is a bit scuffed. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. We're doing it on the fly. Emperor's first picking the Kale, which likely will be going to the top lane. Of course, she has the ability to scale to level 20 right now, which definitely really helps her getting the bonus experience online, getting to that coveted level 16 mark. all of you can enjoy my tabs in my browser. And of course, Pantheon right now just incredibly strong into pretty much every single composition, kind of the first pick. We were talking about Pro earlier, and Pantheon is just kind of jumped up to be one of those priority junglers, even with the nerfs to Sunder Sky, just still so strong.
Yeah, he is an absolute menace, provides a lot in terms of utility and damage, and having a global ultimate out of the jungle is just nasty, as we are going to see the Nami rounded out for Emperors on blue side here, and assuming that it's a Corki mid lane, although that's not necessarily guaranteed, we've seen our fair share of the Corkster in the bot lane as well. I am kind of curious how that pairing is going to work out, and yeah, that's going to be Seraphine as well. It's like snapping my head back and forth. I got to shake out all these silly ideas I have about what's optimal from the highest level play and remember that we're going to see a lot more fun stuff tonight than we might be used to otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be apparently turning you up. Let's just do that now. Yeah, chat, stream, please just let us know if anything is a bit scuffed. Could be some sound issues, could be a bunch of issues. We'll be working them out. I believe that is the Corki Nami bot lane. We have been seeing this a bit in the LCK. Of course, the E ability from Nami, which is the one ability that no caster can ever remember the name of, empowering the Gatling gun from Corki because it shreds so much magic resist and armor, gives you bonus damage from the Nami E, just makes those level 1 trades pretty much impossible to play. So against something like an Enchanter, which is the Seraphine, very, very powerful early level 1 trades, and before she can really start to get her defenses online.
We're going to see Caston Ban coming out from Emperors here to sort of shape that scaling war of attrition back in their favor a little bit. They have the Kale, they want the ultra late game, they don't want to give anything over, especially with some of the changes like the Actualizer coming through here in season 2026 that make Caston just an absolute menace, even more so than before.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't seen Actualizer Cassidon, but I'm sure it hits like an absolute truck once you pop that active. Varus, of course, going to be the lock away, another one of those priority 80 carries. Buffed on this patch, lethality, on hit, it all works. It does give you a bit more of a late game setup here. So the Emperor's draft is looking really interesting, where they've got this kind of early game pressure from the bot side, kind of wanting to buy time for the Kale. I would not be surprised if you look for something like a Galio that just kind of plays the full defensive role and then have a Ambessa in the probably jungle, which is not the front line I was expecting, but Galio stocks I think just continue to rise.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit more physical damage than you might necessarily want to see for the Galio lock-in, but the Wombo potential is certainly there, as you called it. Holy smokes. I got the best analyst with me here tonight.
That's what I do. Apparently there's some issues with my mic, so I'm just going to try and fix that, so I'll let you carry the rest of this draft. Won't be a sec.
All right, sounds like a plan. As now we're waiting to see what the counter pick coming out from SMITE is going to be. The Akali with the Gunblade, sort of resurgent in the meta lately, as that will be the lock-in. And I like some of the individual champions I'm seeing here in terms of power pick. Team synergy doesn't necessarily mesh up super well for me on the side of SMITE. You have a very obnoxious poke bot lane, assuming this is the lethality Varus, paired with the Seraphine. Gonna be chunking, gonna be poking from range, but the rest of your sort of soul lanes, your jungler, they really want to go in, get in the mess, and, get down and dirty with the enemy team. So a little bit of competing direction there, I think, from the side of SMITE, but certainly on both sides, some very powerful individual picks. And yeah, I'm just chatting to the void, so let's ask the old chat, let's get some interaction going. Who has won the draft here, folks? I want to see what your opinions on the piece are.
Alright, I should be back. Apparently I still have the buzz, it seems. I can see it metering. It's a bit rough, but we will be getting this draft underway. Try and fix that very shortly. I might have to just do some filter nonsense, but let me know how it goes, chat. And yeah, I do agree with basically everything you said here. I think there's a bit of disjoint in what the Emperors have put together, where they've got this kind of, a very early game in the bot lane. They're hoping, I think, the Ambessa can be effective, but then you're looking at like, how does the Ambessa get set up in the ganks? It's a miracle Nami bubble, and then like once you hit level 6, then hopefully you can get to the point where she's able to go to engage with the ultimate. But that's really about all you've got.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much in the way of reliable engage from the side of the Emperors. It's all very conditional. Galio wants to ult into somebody who's already in the mix. I mean, maybe you're using the aggressive Corky W, that Valkyrie, to get in there and set things up for your Ambessa and your Galio, but if there's one thing I've learned, it's to always expect the unexpected with these, sort of Diamond Master level amateur leagues. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of team fighting that's going to blow our mind for the better and for the worse. As while we are waiting for the in-game draft to start up, I think we're going to send it over to another quick break just so we can try and address these audio issues a little bit, and we will be back hopefully with some in-game action for you folks. None too long to go. So we will see you in a moment. We'll be right back.
Man, I don't know. This is like what? Yeah. Hang on. Properties. Filters. Audio filters. What the hell? Noise gate. Okay. Check, check. Okay, we might be okay. Yeah, the stream isn't metering it, so I think we'll take it. Yeah. Okay, alright, let's just go with it. Alright, are they in? Yep, cool. Alright, let's just go in-game.
All right, we are back to not quite the in-game action yet, folks, but we are working on it. We will be there shortly, I am sure. In the meanwhile, I'm just continuing to enjoy all the wonderful banter we have in the chat here. It's been an absolutely fantastic way to sort of get introduced to the community and learn a little bit about where the loyalties lie as we're going into game one here. Always love the trash talk. I love the passion that comes out when it's time for these matchups to start.
Yeah, always fun to sit in the chat. I'm apparently... Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was meant to have this all set up ahead of time, and I thought
It's
I did.
fine. It's the backyard league. We're just chilling in the backyard. I've
It
got a
is.
bevy. We're just, we'll get there when we get there. It's no stress.
It is what it is, you know. It's all good.
It certainly is what it is.
Because I
In the
can see a
meanwhile,
client.
I would like to posit some more questions to the chat because they're my favorite people to talk to. The good people of, oh my god, the good people of the oceanic region with such wonderful lines as "bout to see a genetics diff." I don't think that's a very nice thing to say. I think it is just game. We don't have to be rude. We don't have to call people troglodytes for losing at the video game. But, maybe that's just how you guys do things down there in the Southern Hemisphere. I am a guest in your culture. I have to respect it.
Yeah, they can be savages out here. I'm trying to get this thing working. So apologies to everyone in the chat. We are sitting through the spectator delay. The draft is exactly what you're seeing before. We should have a game on your screens very shortly.
I think we're going to throw it to hopefully just one more quick break, and then we will be along with the game action, if there's a loving God in the world.
I hope so. Yeah, what the fuck is happening? I'm so upset. The Riot client is here. Yeah. Game is open. I have league client UX. Oh my god. Hey. Yeah. It's all sorted. I'm just trying to get this fucking thing working. Yeah, it's I put a noise gate, so it shouldn't be coming through straight now. Great. Fantastic. Let me mute us.
언제든지 내 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지 편편 네가 뭘 알아 근데 수원해도
All right, folks, thank you for your patience. We have loaded onto the Rift for game number 1. It's Emperors Never Surrender versus SMITE, Hardly Know Her, and I'm excited to get underway here. And look at this beautiful UI we have. Feeling so professional tonight.
To Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
I am curious if there was like a character limit or something, because it seems to me that the pun there is smite her, hardly know her. So I'm wondering why it's a little truncated, but thankfully, because of the pace of play changes introduced this season, we don't have to riff about names for too long, because we are into the minion waves, we're into the trading, we are into the action. Yeah, I was thinking about that as we were moving into the game, that I've heard people discuss it. I'm not sure if it's really caught on or if it's the optimal way to play the champion yet, so I'm curious what we're going to see here moving forward into the game. I also think it's, you know, sort of a miserable time to be Galio in lane versus Akali, but you're happy to have those magic damage sort of adjacent matchups as you move on with Galio. Obviously, scales great off of magic resistance, and he can give the big AoE shield to the team with his ultimate, so a little bit of suffering now for a lot of help later on, as we are going to see some heavy trading coming through. It's actually Galio getting the best of it, although the Shuriken flip was landed to proc the electrocute. Nice little play from the Akali there. Yeah, it's it's all good. It's the casual vibes. It's what we've continued to do, and Lord knows I'm a yapper. I can keep on yapping with the best of them. And yeah, there's not really much to discuss. It's actually very slow and measured. I'm surprised we haven't seen these teams run that a little bit more. It is obviously one of the advantages of doing a Diamond Masters League. You don't see quite as many ints, although you do still get to see some fun ones, as we're seeing some more heavy trading going down low. That's the Justice Punch in, but it's not going to find its mark. Kali out of the Shroud. That's just the quick burst for first blood. Yeah, the range sort of playing with the spacing there was very, very nice from the Akali. kind of just squeezed in, avoided that Justice Punch, squeezed back out, and boom, dumped all the burst at once. And now that burst is going to be even deadlier, as you did mention, with the rush towards the Gunblade, making a Kali menace once again, dipping in and out of the Shroud, doing what needs to be done. As we're seeing some play near the turret, Kale ticking to 6 with the lethal tempo, not going to look for anything too crazy, just playing that spacing game a little bit more. We got the footsies, we got the teasing, but is it going to be anything? I don't think so.
Hello, stream. Weapon, you're on mute on the stream. You need to boost your mic box back up. Sorry.
We're receiving live production notes. Okay. We're living, we're learning, we're doing what we need to do to try and make the stream the best it can be, and we thank you all for bearing with us. You can always just, you know, watch along with your eyes and let your ears drift to a happy place until we get it sorted. As that is going to be the first Drake going the way of SMITE, and it's actually been a very productive early game from them. I mean, they've had a rough season so far to start, going 0-4 in game score, not picking up a single series win, but it doesn't seem to be for a lack of early game prowess. They're doing what they need to do. They're maintaining a healthy CS lead across their lanes, and, you know, they're making things happen in the early game, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot is going to come off the back of that Akali kill. You know, it just kind of means that you're guaranteed prio. Trades are always going to go your way because you've got that little extra advantage in items. So it all helps out, and this bot lane, which I think we were looking for to be a much more commanding force in the early game, has kind of just gone even. You can see the CS actually slightly favored to the Varus by a couple of CS, so that's not really enough to write home about, but it really hasn't been the story of this matchup where
yeah, but we're seeing Kale now with the lethal tempo trades, the chase down. Is she gonna find Jax? Counter-strike, when is it coming off? Cooldown, jumps back in for the death. But it will be Pantheon coming in with the Grand Starfall, looking for the vengeance. Is he going to throw the spear? Will he find it? Oh, it was burned. We didn't see it. Directed camera is a lovely thing, but either way, Kale gets away with murder there.
Yeah, really, really nicely played. Just runs down the Jax. I think once the Counter-Strike is down, you just don't get to do anything. Does have the Swifties in inventory, so extra move speed, always going to come in clutch for that. And gets the kill and gets the easy teleport back. So that top lane matchup, which I was going to say was the one that felt like it was going the best. Up to a simplified, Kimmygoa finding some decent trades, keeping the Kale honest under a tower. Just hasn't found it. Now ganked in the middle.
Yeah, that's the CC chain, that's the Mbessa Galio, and that is going to be some really nice movement, but it's not enough movement to get away from the Queen of Movement, as we're going to see the return, the jump back under the turret here for the Jax. And that is sort of the difficulty of playing Kale. Once you expend that ultimate, you're very vulnerable, so we'll see the immediate return to SMITE, but it is a 1-for-1 in mid lane and top.
Yeah, bunch of kills traded across the map. Of course, the Galio and Mbessa. Mbessa finally hitting that level 6, so the player who I'm just going to call Butterfly, managing to finally find some agency in the game. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. We're going to miss. And this is the issue I was having with the way this game is playing out for the Emperors, is they haven't really had the ability to kind of force the issue even in their winning lanes, and that against a lot of teams is kind of recipe for disaster, because it means you're basically subject to the wins of your opponent. But now level 6 crested, we're expecting to see the Mbessa do a bit more with her time, so to see what Butterfly is able to get done with this pushing mid and bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I was worried in draft about whether there was enough reliable engage for the side of the Emperors, and, you know, Mbessa ult, it is sidesteppable. It does have a little bit of counterplay agency by stacking who's going to get hit by it, but we're seeing another engage. Shroud's going to come out as Akali will retreat away from that line brush, but as long as we can keep hitting these Mbessa ults on the side of Emperors, I think good things will happen, so that's definitely something we'll have to watch for as the game continues.
And it is going to be Grubby's time. See the top grab being taken by Butterfly, Pantheon waiting in the wings. Kale and Galio both have priority on their lane, so they should be able to start this one up quite comfortably. I think unless there's an attempt at a flash in and steal, this one looks like it's just going to go quite nicely over to the Emperor's side. So have corrected a little bit of that early game. Basically crested through, I think, this early game. It's going to be that fuller Radiance Galio, so the more defensive option. It really doesn't feel like they're being challenged in any of their lanes, despite a fairly greedy draft.
Yeah, and that is sort of in line with what we expected, right, coming in. We did say that even though these are technically the two bottom teams, you know, Emperor's more in a scrum of teams that are in that similar sort of bracket range. It's only week 2. There hasn't been much separation. SMITE has been having a much harder time yet to pick up a game win, but not out of it by any means. Starting to near a 1,000 gold lead for the Emperors, but plenty of game left to play, plenty of playmaking options on the side of SMITE, and we'll just have to see whether that snowball that we've all gotten so used to loving in Season 2026 will roll harder or not.
And the other thing that I haven't really had a chance to talk about, and unfortunately there really isn't a way to talk about it because the UI has yet to be updated to show us this, but it's all about the top lane quest here. I think the big story of this game, of course, is going to be this Kale, whether it gets to snowball, like you say. And a lot of that is going to come from that quest where you see the Kale is now pushing, she's going to be getting much more experience on the quest, able to unlock the quest earlier, and speaking of...
Oh, this poor Akali is just going to get CC chained again as it was the R2 back in. You didn't want to do that as Galio so tanky through the support Seraphine, so little damage, and even though more members were there for SMITE to back up the play, it's just not going to go their way.
Yeah, just an easily executed gank there. You've got the crowd control, you've got the damage from the Ambessa, who is going for the lethality route, now has the Profane Hydra completed, just in time for that dragon to be taken. KO! No flash.
Yeah, that's the quick kill coming through for Jax, so just as easily as it was taken away from them, SMITE finds something back. They will lose out the dragon, of course, but finding the cross-map solo kill so important, as that's the Valve. The bubble will miss. It's flashed by Matt there, and now he's getting the arrows, but the barrier is popped. He has the barrier in return as well as the healing of the Seraphine. So deep goes the FS under the turret, but she's not going to find anything. And this is such a slim margin fight as Corki finally goes down. Here comes the Galio on top of the Pantheon's head. He's going to find a multi-man taunt, but I don't know if you want that as the flash away from the Justice Punch. The flash follow. This is going on for so long. It's 3-on-1, but Galio's so tanky, and he finds one, and he is going to be happy with that as Lysair, I think, at the end of the day.
Lysair just, he goes ham, just straight in there. Doesn't really have any business being there. The kills are traded back and forth. I think that was a 1-4-2 all said and done. Just shows how scrappy the Emperors are willing to make this. Kale, I thought we were seeing a replay there. Died with her flash up, by the way. So I guess just decided she's dead. Who needs it?
Happens to the best of us.
Happens to the best of us. You overestimate or underestimate the damage from the Jax E, which I think was also, it was just a raw Jax E, so probably didn't think it had absorbed enough damage to do anything, but apparently it did.
You underestimate the damage and you overestimate your own reaction times.
Yeah.
It's a tale as old as time. As we do have Pantheon coming up here just to help secure this shove, get a better lane state for the Jax. Going in for the stun, it's going to be the miss on the Ambessa ulti, and this could be a bad situation. The Kale ult is up, and that Ambessa is going to take no damage. So many dashes allows her to follow with that Kale ult raining down from the sky. It will be Jax falling. Could be the Kale in return here, but look at that body blocking. Look at that block. It's so tragic, as it will be the double kill for the lady from Noxus.
That was so well played by Butterfly. Constantly body blocking, making sure that the Kale could not be touched in that play. They committed the ultimate a bit early, which made me nervous, but it was well navigated the rest of the fight. Just felt like there was enough damage from both these members. Of course, it's the full lethality and Bessa, who definitely hurts. We probably will be going towards a bit more of a tanky build. We can see the Tunneler in the inventory. Potentially could be that Sundered Sky or something along those lines. But this is going swimmingly for the side of the Emperors, and again, it's a draft where the pressure was not on them. They could have sat back outside of maybe the Corki lane, and even the Corki, you can wait for that 1-2 item strike where he is the strongest. So it really does feel like from here on out, we want to see some magic from SMITE to actually try and correct the course, because Akali, Pantheon, outside of maybe the Jax, like the scaling just isn't there.
Yeah, the one advantage they might have moving forward in terms of playing out these late game fights is the range of their bot lane, but we're starting to see these quests get finished as Nami will ever base canceled, but thankfully Corki gets away, and that's the important reset timer you want to maintain. But as we see these quests start to get completed, it's a leg up in jungle and in bot for the side of Emperors, so this snowball that we're all so used to from these quests, from the way leads just seem to go out of control, hasn't seemed to be stopped so far. We're going to see the wave come out. It's answered in kind with the encore from the Seraphine. She's getting down the poke. It's a tight margin. It will be the barrier, but we're already back up to the top lanes. It's a 2v1. Jax hopping around, hopping out. He will be hopped to follow as that's the Smite slow coming down under the turret. Does Ambessa have the damage? That is a season 2025 champion, so of course she does. It will be the 1-for-1 though.
It is a 1-for-1. Galio going to find a Kali, and looks like nothing's going to happen there. But 1-for-1 and significant damage on the tower, probably going to be that whole tower taken by KO in this game. So not a bad outcome. If you are on the side of the Revenants, they get that first tower. Already have the quest on lock, as you said. So at this point, you just get Giga accelerated as the KO. She's even going to go for even more plates, because why not? You have the time. This is going to be an incredibly chunky top laner.
Yeah, that level 12 KL as well, the passive, giving so much attack speed, so much split pushing prowess, means you can just hammer away for days. And it's a sad state of affairs here in the mid lane. We saw so many successful ganks come through, the way Vision was played with to make that engage snap from out of the blue and sort of eat up that early game period where we thought Akali could really press her advantage. Now that the MR is starting to get stacked to Galio, you're going to have a very hard time in that 1-versus-1.
Yeah, for sure. Or it has that Hollow Radiance. And as I said, the Merc Treads, there are a lot of games, I think, in the past where you just wouldn't go Merc Treads even if you had a decent amount of AP damage on the enemy team, because they weren't efficient for the magic resist. But now with the shield, it's actually efficient to go for these magic resist boots just for the magic resist. And against something like an Akali, of course, where she does want all in you, that shield potentially going to make the difference. But it is going to be dragon spawning right about now. Looks like inside track has been taken by SMITE, but there is a Galio and there is an Ambessa.
Yeah, and that's the combo we keep seeing. As long as the Ambessa ults keep hitting, Galio can come over the top with the heroic entrances. The KO will be just in time to save Envious. And now it will be the scrum in the backline as Akali picks one up and finds the Corki as well. This could be the turnaround for SMITE as they're finding one after another. And now this Galio will answer back. But can he match Might with the Jax? With the help of the Nami, he'll find his escape. And now it's the Akali who's in harm's way. She's getting chased down. She's getting beaten down. She is getting punched. She's getting exploded and taunted and killed. But will Jax be able to answer back in kind? It's just the CC chain keeping him from finding any revenge, any satisfaction there.
Lasser's Galio been hitting the gym, saying his prayers, eating his vitamins. He is absolutely jacked at this game, 4-2 and 3. Has the Hollow Radiance completed, so any magic damage coming his way just does not matter. And the fight actually looked a bit awkward for the Emperors. You can see the squishiness of the Ambessa coming through, where it was actually her going forward, got caught, basically got herself caught out, threw herself into harm's way, and just didn't quite really have the health bar. And Envy got chunked so low at the start of the fight, and just really wasn't able to contribute as soon as the Akali ulted, because he just had to get out of the way. And unfortunately, the fight did not go so well. So we're starting to see a little bit of the execution needed in these fights, where Envy has to stay safe. The Kale also is going to be that one target. So despite the early game going quite well for them, that win con that I talked about in coming out of draft, where if they can catch one of those targets, get them low, or at least get them out of the fight through any means necessary, potentially is still a live side.
Yeah, and especially with the backline access that we saw in that fight, as it will be the Emperors taking down the Cloud Drake for Drake number 2 for themselves. Especially that win condition we saw of the backline access from the Akali, right? Just the way that she was able to navigate over to the Corki on 1 health and finish him off was a huge turning point that really made that far less disastrous than it could have been for SMITE. Still not looking at the healthiest game state, down about 2k, as it will be another objective started up on the top side and should be going over as Shelly's getting smacked on, but maybe SMITE has something to say about it.
SMITE did have something to say about it. Engage.
Yeah, that's ults on ult. It's going to be Ambessa going right back in, though. She's a lot tankier than she was last time, and she has the backup of the tidal wave, as the flash away means the Akali will find nothing. Now Galio over the top. This is not a fight you wanted to take, SMITE. You thought you had the advantage. You thought you had the position, but Emperors is smacking them with the wallets, as you're not going to outrun the Ambessa. She dashes, she flashes, she does what she has to do, and it will be Pantheon falling.
Definitely will be the Pantheon kill, the Ambessa, as you said, champion released in 2025, so she's very, very fast, and Like I say, she is a lot tankier. That Sunder Sky going to be doing a lot of work keeping her up in these fights, and the combo just works so easily. I mean, as far as a game 1 draft, if you want to just get in your opponent's heads, make it feel like they can't play the game, and Bessa Galio diving on in, it feels oppressive, especially when you tack a 3k gold lead on top of that, when you tack Envy having completed soon his Muramana. He is going... The UI troll, dude. How many times have you pressed tab and been like, my AD carry doesn't have boots, neither does the enemy? What's going on?
Oh my god, I was playing ADC, I got
Yep.
filled the other day, and I was just like, where'd my boots go? Did I sell my boots? What did I do? And trust me, we're all having a hard time making that adjustment, I think.
It's painful. But, look, boots have been picked up. Of course, Envy has gone for the defensive option. He's got Ninja, he's online. And to pick himself up a red buff. With that Muramata completed, he is going to be hitting like a truck, so much more consistent damage. And talk about the issues. I mean, we've sort of split hairs back and forth on whose win con is a little bit better. And you definitely would say that Emperor's, it's easier to execute and it has more consistent damage output. And that's the concern, right? When we're talking about going into the game, one side wants to blow up this game and they simply have not, because one side has Varus, one side has Kali.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
lethality Varus, I'll qualify.
Yeah, you know, it's not going to scale as hard as your typical old school on-hit or crit Varus builds, but certainly is very, very chunky as the game goes on. I think another issue that SMITE is facing is that outside of Akali, who can sort of go in and go out on the back line and offer herself some protection with the Shuriken flip, with the R2, once Jax and Pantheon go in, they're in there. And then you're just sort of waiting from a distance, trying to throw out supportive poke with your Seraphine and your Varus, and it's not necessarily an all-in sort of situation for the whole team. So conflicting intentions, I think, on each side of the map. But we have had a bit of a lull state here. We're just waiting for these objectives to start back up. We do have Baron back at 20 minutes now, which is at least something to get the action rolling again, but it will be Shelly drop down the bot lane just to pick up the last of these tier 1 outers.
A little bit of extra gold going into pockets, going to extend that gold lead, which has remained, I gotta say, relatively stable. So Bubble's gonna land. Carol.
Yeah, that's the whole combo. It's the bubble into the tidal wave. Oh my god, the encore just right through the goalposts. That was unfortunate.
Just explodes, and like looking more action on the bot side. I think this Kali is just not much as well, as there is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director.
I'm not sure. Not sure what the thought process was on that one. I gotta ask, as that's just going to be a dead Varus. I'm not too familiar with cricket. I know you guys play a lot of cricket down
yeah.
There's
you're
some
probably
sort
asking the wrong guy, but go on.
There's some sort of cricket metaphor there, right? Split the wickets, went between the...
Yeah,
there's something
split the
there.
wickets, yeah. Chat's probably yelling at probably both of us right now, but especially me, because I think I should know a bit more about cricket. Cricket is less a game you watch and more a game you sit in the sun and get sunburned. I don't know what the American analog would be, probably baseball, but I think
Yes,
baseball's
very
got
much
a bit more going on in it. Because baseball games don't go for like a whole week.
So I know there's different kinds of cricket, and
There is,
look,
yeah.
people, we're in the lull state. We're in the snowball. I think we're just waiting to see if it's going to continue rolling down the hill. We have some time to sort of make a diversion on cricket here. There's limited overs, right? And then there's test. I watched a video explaining this years ago as Pantheon is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's little to be done about it.
Yeah, and this is the thing about this stage of the game, is we're going to bring it back to League of Legends in a moment. We will go back to cricket, don't worry. But to bring it back to League of Legends, right, this is the stage of the game where what you want to do as SMITE is you want to be looking for picks. You want to use your Varus, your Akali, try and one and done a single pick, but your waves are all being pushed, vision lines being crept in. You can see there's a couple of wards in that blue side jungle, one over the back wall, which indicates that that's the intention of where they're going to be looking to at least try and siege, but there is way clear there. So yeah, like your options are very much dwindling, and I think we're probably just looking at a bit of a slow march towards victory for the side of the Emperors. But yeah, back to cricket, the important conversation today.
Absolutely, as Baron is going to get started up. So yeah, from my understanding, there's like cricket that goes on for like a week at a time, but then there's also like more normal kind of cricket.
Yeah,
as,
Test cricket versus there's engage.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? You have the walls to do it. You have the capability to snap engage over the wall, and that's just going to be one member falling after another. Although Jax is trying to get a little bit jiggy with it. He found Corky, forced the flash over the wall. He will flash to follow, but there's just so much damage. Once that counter-strike runs out, he was not long for it. It will be the answer on the opposite side of the map with some plate gold. That is one of those changes to try and balance out the feelings, but oh my god, Weapon. They were doing the Baron the whole time.
Yeah, it was just Envy trying to limit test on the Corky, and I mean, he gets it done. He does so much protection. He's got the Galio. He just knew that he could go forward there. This is probably the point in the game where the comms are absolute chaos because they feel like they've just won. There's nothing that can be done, but a little bit of gold does go back towards the side of Smite. As you say, it is going to be keeping that gold lead. Again, like, it's relatively honest. It is about 5k. It could have really ballooned out, but sometimes it's more about having fun than necessarily winning the game, and Baron will let you win the game, so that's the great news. And we'll probably see setup and siege, look for a bit of a 4-1 setup. Kale on the other side has the ultimate buy time. Galio can press R. This game will end in short order. You've still got the Akali on the top side trying to split push, but I don't know how much good that will do.
Yeah, the passive is ticked over to level 16 as well, now 17 for Kale, so I don't think you're ever going to be able to match that push, as Jax is feeling the sting of that scaling, and it really is just the long, slow choke out. You get your wave shoved onto lanes, you start to siege the tier 3s and move into the base, and it's a little bit of that long goodbye that we're just going to have to see if, maybe in Los Ratonis fashion, Smite can find a miraculous base.
Good reference. I mean, Los Ratonis, of course, they've done it twice. Good to see, but this is, you've got a Kale, and she is level 17. She probably will get level 18 very, very shortly because she's got a bonus experience. I think in the game right here. In America, do you have the hand lawnmowers, the ones that just kind of are mechanical, you push them?
They mostly show up in old cartoons more so than in real life, but I am familiar with what you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough. That's you run the Kale.
Yeah, and that's that last-ditch defense we were looking to see. The ultimates come out. The Encore did find a fair amount of people, but it's just not going to be enough. I mean, Kale was waiting on the ultimate for so long. Never any real danger for Emperors, as it will be that 27-minute stomperoo. They find the Nexus. They find the victory in game number 1.
That is going to be it. So expected outcome given the standings, but at least a little bit of early fight found by the side of the Emperors and Smite. I'm just going to leave it on the draft screen. The players can sort this one out.
Yeah.
That is our draft, because the great thing is, as soon as we get the second game up and running, the draft is just going to start working and everything's great. I'm in the spectator slot. Don't worry, players. It's all good. Yeah. Greedy draft.
Do we have readies from the players? Are they ready to move into game 2? Are we taking a short break? Anybody doing bathroom? I know we were on a delay here.
Yeah, I'll find out. I think let's just go to a break. We'll do a short break. We'll get the players.
We'll call it a
all
2
situated.
minutes.
Yeah, we'll call it until the players are ready. I'm good to go. And yeah, we'll see you back very, very shortly. Thank you. Alright, we should be good. I'm just going to use this one. Started.
We are back. We are into draft for game number 2 here between Emperors and Smite. Looks like sides will be staying the same moving into game 2. So I don't know how much. Oh, I haven't even thought to ask because my brain has just switched to a completely new mode of thinking. Are we doing Fearless?
We are. We definitely are doing Fearless. So whatever you saw in the last game, discard it. It's never coming back. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, I'm so happy, actually. This is the way League should be. It's amazing to me how quickly Fearless took off. I remember when the LDL first implemented it, I think it was 2021 or 2022, and in just a very short time, it's become the new default way to play League, and man, do I love it. It keeps these series so interesting and so fun. So I'm wondering where the priority will shift now. Clean slate.
Yeah, definitely. We wipe the slate clean. We'll see what the SMITE folks can put together. I was actually not a fan of Fearless Draft heading into the year when we first got it, because I was like, what? Like, evolution is like what makes League of Legends really, really cool. But we still get that a little bit, as it is going to be the Scion picked up. I wonder if the Aatrox is going to be in the pool of the Smite top laner, because that matchup is just straight up unplayable, and usually that's what you slam. But I mean, is it a blocker pick for a Jace? I don't know. It's Singed. All right,
That's a
something.
fun one. I am happy to see Singed. A lot of cool changes coming through for Singed. Sort of, I would think of it more of as a neutralizer than a counter to the Scion. They both kind of want to just suck up the farm and proxy each other. The way the quest coding has been brought into the game means that if you can get an unanswered proxy off on your opponent and force them to answer you, you're going to be accumulating quest XP while they're not. So I'm curious to see if the Singe can make that happen. As we're going down to the wire on the next pick, and it looks like it will be Jarvan the Fourth coming through for Smite as well.
All right, J4. So that is going to be preventing things like the Jinx and the Sivir potentially from being as attractive options. Of course, Envy, I was chatting to him before the game. He hasn't been playing AD carry at all. So whatever we're saying here is this is just raw. Like, this is him playing AD carry for basically the first time in a long time. So the Corki, I think, was a bit of a gimme, because that's just a mid lane champion.
Play a mid laner technically game 1, so...
Okay, Diana going to be locked in. I wonder if we'll see a bit of a Diana Yasuo combo, but Diana is another one of those champions who's been a massive beneficiary of the Dusk and Dawn. She just loves that item. It gives her all the stats she wants, and of course synergizes incredibly well with her passive. Very, very strong champion right now, up there with, I think, Gwen is one of the real big sort of beneficiaries of that item.
Yeah, those are the ones that you see Reddit complaining about the most. That's where I get all of my information from. It's the most reliable source on the internet. Of course, with the most intelligent and least biased commentators on League of Legends, as it was a real decision. They didn't know what to give Envy, but they eventually decided on the Smolder there in the bot lane for Emperors.
It's another one of those champions that's been a mid laner, so it just kind of makes sense, I think. But also it gives you an option to get out of things like the Cataclysm, so I kind of like the look. It's a secondary carry as well, something that will scale up, kind of just gets to sit in the bot lane, which the Corki didn't necessarily get to do that. It was very much supposed to be what you played around, but they got away with it. Kind of like this though, extra lockdown, Cataclysm into the Solar Flare. Unless you've got a Diana to deal with, that is one dead dragon.
Yeah, it's a very nice sort of simplification too for Smite. I think a lot more on the same page of this hard engage, this wombo. We press our buttons on the vulnerable player at the same time and try and bash their skull in. So I'm liking the direction they're moving in. Hopefully should be a little bit easier to execute for them this time around.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. As we head into the second pan of bans, Rel going to be taken off the table, so it looks like we're trying to take away some engage options. I mean, you don't really tend to see the enchanters alongside the smolder. It usually is those kind of hard engage options, things that can actually peel for it. LeBlanc is interesting. That's probably a bit of a targeted one towards the mid lane, not a champion we see a lot. And also I think a champion that just has a lot of counters that are kind of in meta, things like Lysandra spring to mind. Of course, you know, she is kind of on the fringes at all times, but it feels like LeBlanc has more answers and doesn't really have as much agency as she did in the past, especially when you got things like the Leona on the opposing side. So yeah, interesting takeaway, but it is going to be, what, AD carry to be picked for Smite, whereas the Emperor's also looking for potentially their AD carry. I mean, it's going to be that flex, but we'll see where they end up. There's the Kassadin ban again.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just fear of the sort of mana scaling type changes that have come in, or if that's a more specifically targeted one. This is a little off topic, but I have to say it every time I see it because it annoys me. When is Leona getting a new default splash art, man? That thing is hideous.
I like I mean, it's like a leotard with like armor over the top of it. It's pretty cool. Apparently chat says
It's
that
so 2012.
Okay, I like this. So Tristana, I mean, the Smolder flex is alive. I think Smolder is not quite as good in the mid lane as he once was. It feels like he really benefits a lot from the extra gold and just extra time that he gets from the bot lane quest. But I think the Tristana-Leona combination makes you think a little bit harder about putting that Smolder in the mid lane, and it does help with your damage profile. You know, you've got the Diana, you've got the Smolder, so that's ADAP. Although, Braum definitely helps you get through a rough laning phase.
Yeah, very protective force, as
Ooh.
I think you were right on about the flex. The Lucian Braum going to be a very good answer onto the Leona. The protective sort of peel coming through from the Braum. The counter stun, easy to proc. This is a classic boosting strategy, the Lucian Braum. Using the Lucian Light Slinger to just pop, pop, proc your Braum stun. I think it's a very good adaptation here from Emperors in the last phase of the picks.
Absolutely, and Lucian is just so strong right now with the Essence Reaver. Of course, it was nerfed a couple of patches ago, but still a very, very strong item. Still feels like the best start to the game you can have, and when you've got something like a Tristana that wants to jump in, of course, you know, tag with the Braum Q, just instantly light them up with the stun, and you can just back away or extend the trade from there. It feels really, really good. Of course, Syndra lock-in into the Smolder. This was my concern about the Smolder flex, is that you did still have that red side counter pick. Smolder into Syndra does not feel like a fun lane, especially when you got a J4 flying in out of the wings, flap, 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 or no. So definitely going to be on Lasser to play very, very safe in this lane, make sure he doesn't fall prey to those early ganks.
Yeah, it's a real fun time for a mid laner, right? From what I know of the personality of most mid laners I've talked to, the thing they love to do is to play the champion that sits as far back from the wave as possible and only walks up to cast an ability every 15 seconds or so. Yeah, that's what they're all about.
Actually, what role do you play in League of Legends? You can say you don't play. That's also fine.
For the longest time, I've been a top laner, but it's rough this season, man.
Really?
It is rough.
Really, top laners feel like the main carries are the main characters right now.
That's the problem.
Oh,
Everybody's up there too much, and they've incentivized side laning and splitting so much, and it stinks because that's what I like to do, but they've made it so strong that now everybody else is doing it, and it's not fun if the other top laner is there. It used to be fun to split push because the other top laner wasn't there.
You don't want the honor duel, you just want a PvE plates.
I want a PvE plates, I want to cheat tempo, I want a proxy, I want to steal jungle camps, I want to live on my island, and if I'm winning the matchup, I don't mind an honorable 1v1, but the other jungler keeps coming top now. I don't play League of Legends for macro and thinking. I want to run down the straight line, and I want to hit stuff.
Yeah, I can see it. This is a top lane mentality. I think you're doing great. I am just going to quickly say that I think we'll throw ourselves to a quick little break while we get ourselves set up for game. The players are drafting into the game, and we will have a spectator delay to cover. So we will be back in just a moment. Thank you very much for sticking with us.
Thank you. Here we are. We are loaded onto the Rift for Game 2. It is the Emperors versus SMITE Hardly Knower. And it was not necessarily the most even game going into Game 1. It was maybe a little bit more one-sided than we would have hoped for, but I think there were some positives, at least in the early game, for the side of SMITE.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Akali performance was definitely pretty good in the early game, got that early kill, and I think there was a couple of hope spots for the Smolder, but unfortunately, overall the game did not look great. I think this game, the draft definitely looked a bit better, I will say. I think this Syndra matchup, which we're seeing right now, the Ghost has been popped. Decent trade onto the Smolder. Smolder definitely wanted to take a bit of a back seat in this game. And then
I actually really love what Syndra's doing here, going for the first strike rune and really maximizing the fact that, hey, you gotta win this early game and you should win this early game. Press that advantage as much as you can, and we're seeing those trades already look really, really strong in this first minute of play.
yeah, absolutely. And that's a Ghost as whoa my god, that's just a kill.
That's the first blood! I mean, that's what we want to see!
That's it, just first blood difference. And also, I was going to say the Ghost is such a short cooldown that why the hell wouldn't you pop it there? As we're just brawling all over the map here. Kimibella getting very, very low. Grim Reaper is a Scion, so he's never going to be low.
Yeah, that level up timer as well, very advantageous. As I do think we need to refresh the overlay here. We're missing a little bit of scoreboard information, but once we get it back up, we can do a little bit more in-depth analysis on just the way the gold is breaking and the way these lanes are playing out. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit hard for the first few levels. Sin's one of those champions that you need a lot of specialty expertise to pilot it well through lane, and those first three levels definitely the stickiest sort of situation you can be in. But going well so far. Caught most of the CS, up a little bit. Wave state is not necessarily great. It's sort of a slow push out here on the side of Scion with those three minions, but maybe the proxy can be found as Sin's just trying to run past. And yeah, we've got our scoreboard up nice, and we can start doing some hardcore analysis.
Thank you. Thanks for the cover while I fiddle with stuff. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Now, apparently Blue Bottles doesn't want to play nice. That's all good. But yeah, that kill in the mid lane, of course, is going to be a big deal. Of course, as Syndra wants to get stacking early with that passive, and that's going to be our 1 point of pressure here for the side of SMITE. See if they can get things done. So they would have had side selection. They did opt to stay on that red side to continue the counter pick, and that Syndra pick, that's your trump card, right? That's where you want to try and get things done. We'll see if they can do that.
Yeah, I think leaning into that win condition, recognizing it, going for the aggressive rune, and really going balls to the wall all out, level 1, popping the Ghost and saying, I need to snowball this lane to give us a chance. We can't let the scaling train leave the station like we did last time. And it went well, but now it's not going as great as the Scatter of the Week at least forces the Flash, the Flag and Drag to follow up. Not going to find its mark, but I think the point was made on that game.
Yeah, really nicely on. Burns the Flash on the Smolder, so now just that one defensive tool that you have in the pocket. Gonna have the Ghost coming up for the Syndra as well as you're a bit of a ways from level 6, but once that Summoner comes up, once the Jarvan completes his clear, is Diana looking to invade on the top side?
Yeah, and it's a rough turn of events.
That was not good.
In the mid lane as well. Just when you start to throw the praise somebody's way, it's the caster curse. It always happens.
Scatter the Week.
A nice Scatter of the Week with the first strike and the turret shot onto Lysair. That was a bit of a misplay. Oopsie, that's the 1-for-1. And now Jarvan coming in. That turret was still fully ramped, still fully cooked. And that means Anju picks it up on Butterfly as well. Yeah,
just a jungler and mid collision, and both sides walk away with the kills. And most importantly, I think the kill going into the pocket of the Syndra didn't have to burn anything for that, because she didn't have the flash up quite yet, and walks away with the kill. Is going to be getting more and more gold in the pocket. You can see the Smolder has had to go for the cull into the inventory, so trying to get as much gold as possible, try and survive this early game, because Lysair, no flash means that he is just going to be the target for the next couple of minutes, and that's a J4 completely is clear on the bot side, and he will have an opportunity to look either bot or mid in the next couple of minutes. It's nice dodge by Lysair.
Yeah, it's not for lack of trying on Lysair's end, right? We saw him win trade after trade in that mid lane situation, even after having already given away first blood. The problem was just a little bit of trying to play at that max range, trying to push the limits and taking a little too much turret aggro. It stayed cooked the whole way through. Even when Diana came in from the back, it never reset, so it did big damage onto her and was kind of the deciding factor in that fight. But honestly, despite the 2 deaths, Lysair is starting to play the spacing game very well, starting to get down a lot of poke onto the Syndra.
Yeah, definitely. And he is relatively even on CS. I mean, the thing that matters on the Smolder is going to be the stackies. So as long as he keeps that up, he is going to eventually hit the point where the game is playable. But this is another draft, actually, the more I look at it, where it's a little bit disjointed. It's got elements that want to play early. It's got this Lucian Braum in the mid lane, in the bot lane, but then Diana wants time to get to level 6 before she's able to play, and the scuffle down towards the bot side for the crab. That's going to be picked up. So the one thing that Lucian Braum will get you, especially against a duo like the Tristana and the Leona, is going to be priority, and they are using that to start up that dragon right now.
Yeah, and we've seen lots of shenanigans this week across the League of Legends world around crabs. This is going to be a nice, clean take. No funny business allowed, and it will lead, as you said, right into that Cloud Drake. Drake number 1 going into the pocket of Emperors, and I think they're all going to enjoy that movement speed, especially in line with the new home guards. They're going to be moving around the map very, very fast.
Yeah, definitely going to help them get those rotations off. Anju going to sneak in, steal away the blue buff as a bit of recompense, but that is about all he is going to get as the dragon does go over. So early pressure definitely going once again in the favor of the Emperors. They are down that little bit, but they get that first dragon up, and with a team with something like a Lucian Braum, definitely what you want to see for them to be able to just keep the pressure up in this game. And even Reaper up towards the top side, who, by the way, just a quick shout out one time to everyone on Emperors for turning off streamer mode. Maybe our mods yelled at them. Really, really appreciate it, but thanks guys. But Grim Reaper...
Yeah, I couldn't read names.
Yeah. Oh, nice poke by Lysair. But Grim Reaper is going to be just there to survive, and he's actually doing quite well. He's got himself even a decent CS lead, just up by 10 CS. So everything, once again, for Emperors is completely fine. Flip into the tower.
Yeah, that was the nice fling back into the goo to find the root. It will be the flash forced out of Grim Reaper there. And this is actually a really sad tale to see how hard Lysair has flipped this matchup on its head. Obviously, unfortunately, went down early in kills, but up until that Scout of the Week we just saw, dodging out, sidestepping, playing the margins so well, weaving in and out of poke range. Just expertly, and really has changed the face of this matchup. Barely behind in CS, stacking up that call, getting his dragon practice, really making this mid lane matchup into what he wants it to be.
Yeah, he also has the fleet footwork, so not a room we see a lot scattered, but weak into the...
Yeah! And the heal comes
No.
through, and that's what I was afraid of, is Lysair will find the solo bolo. It was just not quite enough. The execute damage not going to be on that ult until much later on in the stacking for the Syndra, so unleash power, only going to unleash an int, I'm afraid.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Burn both summoners for that. Envy going to find culling. I believe this is another matchup, right, where he's kind of shortcutted by playing a champion who can be played in mid lane, so he's getting away with it. But yeah, that Lysair in the mid lane, once again picking up the kill, as you said, was playing that matchup expertly, getting the poke off. And had the footwork, so any trades that came his way were largely being nullified as long as he didn't eat too much damage, and now he's just off to the races. He will eventually get that Triforce online that Cull's going to proc, and it's another game state where we're looking at the Smite side and we're just saying, okay, how do you get yourselves now back into this game, but how do you create some early action? Because at this stage, I'm not really seeing it. The J4 has been a little bit too passive outside of blowing that Smolder's flash, and that's really all he's been able to do. He hasn't even been able to pick up that first dragon or create any sort of pressure with this bot lane.
Yeah, when you pick J4 into Diana, the onus on you to make action. She will out-farm you, as that will be Singed going down. you get cheeky, you want to make your flip, you want to get the root, but that's Scion. He's not dying even if you root him under turret. He's a big, thick boy, and unfortunately, there was a sad surprise waiting for you in the bush that time around.
Yeah, 100%. So much health on this Scion. Also, just has the Negatron cloak in the inventory, so he's so tanky. You demolish. Bonk. And it's all looking a bit grim. 1k gold lead. I have dragons spawning shortly. I'm going to turn on the objective timers because we don't have those because blue bottles broke. So dragon goes spawning in 1 minute time, and this bot lane has been completely ran by Envy and Carol, who against this bomb Lucian combo just connect for bot lane as soon as someone goes in, but here we're looking for some action.
Yeah, that's the Jarvan gank we were looking for. The CC chain is impeccable. It will just
No.
be the throw, but he flashes out over the wall. It's going to be the rocket jump to follow, but the culling is going to find it. Meanwhile, it will be the response play in the mid. Emperors goes 1-for-1 on the cross map. Now the barrier popped under turret, but that dive will be successful. Will the cook turret shot do it? Not even close, baby!
I thought Carol was out.
Oh.
Stun!
That's a moon lady fighting a sun lady. It's lore, it's yearning, it's Yuri, but it will not be enough to find the kills on the low health members. But look at this, Diana just continuing to chase under turret. That's one tanky Leona, and she gets the stun! Enemies to lovers means the shutdown goes over to Leona.
Oh, just so thirsty by Butterfly, just denied by the Leona stun. Really nicely played by Genetics Tiff. And I thought Carol was out. I really did, but they just pressed the issue in the bot lane. Everyone committing their summoners. There is just nothing left for anyone down towards our bot side. So keep your eyes on any jungler who goes down there, especially with that infernal dragon up. Means that we're probably going to see pretty much that exact situation happen again, Cyber. But imagine if no one had summons. There's going to be a lot more deaths. Not that I don't think we can get more deaths, can we? That's a root.
Yeah, that was... I'm really impressed.
Yeah, that was really cool.
On Kimmy Bella's sort of consistency on hitting these EW combos on the Singed, and this has been such a turning point. I feel like for the first time in a while, we're seeing Smite be the first to an objective. That bot lane is so far ahead now. You can see the Tristana ahead 2 long swords. She has the first item completed with the Yuntal and the boots. So, going to have a lot of power in this fight moving forward as we're getting towards it. It's going to be the J4 going in. He's going to get stunned up. The Smite does go over to Emperors, but will the kills follow for Smite? Here's the rocket jump. It will be the Braum falling. It will be the Lucian dashing away, trying to kite, but the Syndra's on top of him. The burst is crazy. They want more, but the Smolder has retreated. Triple kill going on over to Matthew, putting that money to good use.
Yeah, finally something goes in the way of Smite. They don't get the Smite. Let's say are looking for a bit more. He does a lot of damage, but I don't think there's going to be much to say here. But finally something does go for the... Wait, no, what? What's that?
Oh!
He gets it!
Auto attack finds it. It'll be the 1-for-1, but just really inflicting some psychic damage with this little ugly baby dragon character he's playing.
Bro, I'm trying to wrap up the fight, and then I start talking about him going for this trade, and I realize that trade's not going to be anything, but Lysair says, yeah, that trade's going to be something. It's 1-for-1. I don't know if that's necessarily the trade you wanted to go for, but he gets the kill, and I think, as you said, it's all about the emotional damage, especially after the Smite did not go the way of the team literally named after Smite. They do not get that one, but it is going to be really this story of, I think, this bot side, this Tristana, absolutely massive, and the Syndra, who is putting out so much damage, who I think did kind of the majority of the damage in that previous fight. And it was really just cleanup duty from Matthew, who does have the Untils completed, so he is starting to get to the point where he's comfortable. But really going to be on the side of the Smite team to just try to keep this pressure up, try to keep doing something with this, and they will have the Herald spawning in 53 seconds, but there's no top priority, so I don't know if you get to walk towards that.
Yeah, I'd like to see them sort of transition this teamfight success they've found and the gold lead they have in the bot lane into some objectives, because this is sort of where they fell short after getting the first Drake last game. I don't think they've gotten a single objective since, so we'll see if they can do it, but they're looking to fight again, and when you have an AD carry this strong, why not? But she jumps right to the back line and gets moonfalled by Diana, now going to get healed with that Cataclysm, keeping them separate, but that means Jarvan's locked in with them, and now it's going to be the Mom coming in over the top. The W slow won't connect, so Matthew will get out, but his front line will not be so lucky.
just throw themselves into the blender to smite, and they pay for it dearly. Butterfly waiting over in the wings. I don't know if they knew that he was there. I mean, clearly you would not go for that play if you did. So Diana just making all the difference, even with the item advantage, you would say, in the extended fight for the Tristana. Of course, the Essence Reaver really for those kind of poke in all in out trades. Words failing me at this time, but they managed to just grind out the fight with the Braum Lucian combo, just lock them down, just one by one. Also fighting into that choke to see how much value the Braum shield got. So really starting to put the screws in are the Emperors. 1k gold lead exactly to the good, and they've got position on the Herald, so they can look to extend this even further.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary time. You had a little sort of inkling of a strategy, of a path forward, and unfortunately you didn't follow it, and now things are really looking rough. Lasera's done so much to just keep going 1-for-1 even in bad situations, play out the matchup on the margins, play well, and that means that this Smolder just continues to scale and get scarier and scarier. Now with the Lucian caught back up with the addition of some shutdowns, a couple of kills, it's really looking difficult to win through in these team fights, and we were looking at this Herald. We were looking for SMITE to, maybe finally get themselves a neutral objective, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and Lasera just has permanent prio, so Herald just going to be picked up pretty much for free. The one trade you potentially get is some plates, some extra gold into the Tristana's pockets, but the fights start to look a little bit more and more unplayable the more this game goes on. Smolder scaling notwithstanding, but also just the fact that there is just a Braum, although Lasera might finally pay for his sins.
Yeah, that's just going to be all the burst. He gets the mom healing. Does he have the E? Nope, no flapping to be had. Just going to get bonked down by Anju there. And that is a nice little pickup to finally kill that annoying little dragon and not have to answer something back.
Finally gets a little bit of extra gold for them. Finally shuts down the Lasera Smolder. You probably would have loved to have seen that go into the Syndra, but that's not going to be the case. But they do at least shut him down, slow the roll, and get themselves a little bit more momentum back. We'll see what they can actually do with this, because this is another
a fun, well-designed champion. I think this is what everybody
Singed?
likes when they play League of Legends.
Yeah.
Just get thrown and
this is great.
slowed.
So I actually, fun story. I think we've got a little bit of time. I played against a.
Oh, the turnaround. The W
he gets
pop.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Scion is the unfair champion. Who
knows?
knows?
Scion is a great design. I love it when he goes full lethality and kills my towers. Yeah, I actually played against a Singed Yuumi combination the other day. It was fun.
No,
SMITE?
don't do it. Oh, they got the Drake! They finally got their objective. I think they're going to pay dearly for it, unfortunately, although Andrew gets the EQ over the wall. Look at that tankiness coming through from Liana as well. She will fall, but you know what? SMITE got something there. I'm happy for them.
They got something. They got their first objective of the series. It definitely feels good. A little bit of extra tankiness from the Mountain Drake. Definitely going to help it. Envy just broke Genetic Diff's ankles with that dodge forward. I didn't think he had the movement speed without the W tag, but just goes in, gets the kill. It looks like he's going for a very full damage build, skipping the Navori in this particular game. Feels like he doesn't need it. He's got enough crowd control to hold people in place. He just has to shoot people and then press R. That's his entire job. Also, he's got a dragon that is eventually just going to do more and more damage. So, it makes sense. A lot of these fights are going to be over very, very quickly. And that Mountain Drake going down does mean we get a couple of moments to collect our breath. But you can see how cavalier the Emperors are about their positioning on the map. They're even looking to invade here. Pushing the top side, but this is very bold, but they feel like they can get away with it.
And get away with it they do. They get the red buff, they get the lockdown. I mean, that's a 3-man stun, but it doesn't do much, and that's going to be the EQ back through. But just sort of a tickle and a tease more so than saying we're actually going to fight you here, as our support has evaporated far too quickly. But is the catch onto the Singe? That's the double knockup.
They have Moonfall.
Back in, the peel is happening. The Moonfall does not connect damage-wise. they're making some time, they're buying some space, but here's Lasser. He is the backup. Poke continues to land, and I think Emperor's gonna try and get out. The Cataclysm follow through. I don't know about that one when the mom is in the back pocket to answer, but here comes Matthew over the wall. He's in the thick of it, and I don't think that's where you want to be as the AD carry. The double kill goes on over to Lasser on the Smolder, who is looking at so many blinking health bars. Is he going to try for some more heroic margin play? Nah, he's just gonna back out.
Absolutely can't. The whole time they did have Lucian pushing, so that felt like a play where, okay, we'll just go in and harass, we'll see if we can steal away some camps, and unfortunately the excitement kicked in. They saw enemy, they thought they could fight enemy, and to their credit, I guess they could, but 2 for 1 is definitely not what you want coming out of that play. It does equalize a little bit of the gold, not a lot to write home about, but it does give these at least a bit of breathing room over to SMITE, so they're going to feel a little bit better about their chances in this game, but their chances are not looking great because Baron has spawned. That's a smite from Reaper. Baron has spawned, and I think the next...
You're not going to catch him up like that. He's a thicky boy.
Yeah, he's very chunky. But the point I'm trying to get to is I think that the next time that someone either steps willingly into the Braum Diana combo, or the next time that Diana and Sion potentially looks to engage, it's just Baron, and it's probably just the game ending. So very important moment for SMITE to try and play controlled, make sure they know where every single person is, and not make mistakes like they did in that previous bot lane fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to start to wonder if the window is maybe past. Lissandra going for the sort of pen burst build here. It's going to be the Ludens right into the Shadow Flame, the spell pen boots, full blast cannon, but after the early lane advantages were sort of forfeited, you wonder if it's going to be enough with Smolder on the Infinity Edge just completed. You got double Essence Reaver IE coming through on the side of Emperors. It's going to be real tough to survive that much burst.
Yeah, and with this build, right, you don't necessarily have to full commit on your side either. You could have maybe a Sion going forward. He's got the Rooker and he's got the Force of Nature, so he's incredibly tanky against both the Singe and the Syndra. They're the ones that really feel like they matter to him. And then you've just got everyone else kind of standing like 2 to 3 screens away and just throwing stuff at the opponent. So a lot of options to play out the fights, and you have to think that Navori will eventually be that third item, which gives the Lucian a bit more optionality, if he doesn't just go straight for that late game penetration, which kind of most AD carries do generally tend to need. Either are completely fine options, but we're really just waiting for that next fight. Dragon spawning in 34 seconds, everyone looking to do their resets, with Sion having the TP probably means that this is where we'll look to make our, what will feel like a bit of a final stand for the SMITE team.
Yeah, and, you know, SMITE did get to the river to get some forward vision down, but they haven't cleared out the deep vision that is there for the Emperors, so it could be a tragedy in the making if they try and move too far forward to fight this Drake. We'll just have to wait and see, as it is going to spawn up, and it is time to see how the roulette wheel spins. The position has been pushed back into the Drake, or rather into the jungle on the side of SMITE, and they might have a hard time walking up.
Sion on the flank. And he's just in there, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah. He actually did TP within vision, it looks like, so a lot of free time to hit. That's the stuns coming out, but not really cutting through as quickly as they had hoped. It will be envious shut down at the very least, so that is something going the way of SMITE. Will the peel and the damage return from Emperors be enough? That's the lockdown. That is the Tristana free firing all along. And you have to question the SMITE location that Sion, or rather the TP location Sion picked, because he kind of started that fight way too deep, even though they had so many good flank wards.
Yeah, he's tanky, but he's just not that tanky, and it looks like this is just going to be butterfly going down. Yes, it is. Eventually,
yeah, this is a delayed ace. I mean,
eventually.
All right, Sion gets out with the ult, but you just went 4 for 1, 4 for 2. That was such a winning position for Emperor. It feels like a really hard throw.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see from the Sion. Like you said, the teleport position was very questionable, and I didn't quite even see how Envy died, but he was dead very quick into that fight, and wasn't anywhere near the fight as far as I can tell, so maybe getting solid out by the Syndra, I'm guessing, but just exploded early. Envy back into the fight, looking for an engage, but like, definitely feels like the wheels have fallen off a bit. And now you look at this Tristana that has the Infinity Edge, has the Navori, has everything stacked up, 8, 1, and 3, and actually this is looking like a bit of threat. This is looking like we could see that third game.
Yeah, it's very nice to see the sort of ping pong serve returned back the other way, and now we'll have to keep our eyes around this Baron. I think the issue of confidence I'm having in this one is that we've seen Trist have these big team fight pop-offs already in this game and then get caught and fail to convert, but it's looking like we're going for another 5v5. It starts with Cinder getting caught, it starts with the CC chain, the culling over the top, and that is going to be one kill going already over to Emperor. Braum gets out with his life as well. It's forcing Singe to go so deep. That will be the 1-for-1 so far. Where will it continue? Don't chase Singe, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first rule you learn, and it looks like that will be the end of the hostilities for now.
It is just going to be 1-for-1. I don't think that's quite enough to even consider starting up this Baron, but it looks like they're actually going to go for it. At least clearing up the vision. Yeah, I mean, this is a Diana, it's a Lucian. You do a decent amount of damage with this one, just with the Dusk and Dawn and the Riftmaker, but I think they're looking to turn off this.
Trist was hitting the mid turret as well, going to pick up that tier 1, going to pull them off of the purple worm is the Singe. Now he's in a very rough position though. And yeah, that's not going to be an execute.
Who gets the kill? That's the question.
Yeah.
It's not if or when.
I think it's Braum, unfortunately, because that crescent didn't land. No. Oh, Carol, you don't want auto attack there.
Yeah, that was rough. That was some reckless behavior, if you will. But yeah, thanks. Baron stopped is definitely going to be at least a bit of reprieve. It definitely feels like
especially with that mid tier 1 taken. That felt like a good sequence from Smite.
Yeah, like some real miscoordination, I think, from the Emperors, where some people feel like they want to go forward, others do not. It feels like it's just go all the time in the comms, and they're not really waiting for like Lucian flashes down. There's a lot of timers they could be trying to sync up before they go for these plays, but it's kind of like, okay, we have Braum ultimate or we have Moonfall, let's go for it, rather than waiting for every single person to kind of be ready to fight. And we're not seeing a lot of downtime, which kind of means that tempo is just not really a conversation that we have in this game, and now they're setting up Baron just completely on vision.
Look, foot on the gas pedal. It's my favorite kind of League of Legends, and this Baron is going down real quick. The pink is over the wall, but already at 1/3 health, going to continue to tick down as the fight is in the top lane. Direct to camera. I don't know why you're showing us that, as it will be Emperors picking up the Drake, and the free kill on Andrew went for the heroic steal, but just not quick enough on the response. Worse Smite on that one.
I guess we will have a conversation about tempo, because if you just do something so much faster than your opponents can even consider reacting, then yeah, great, you've done it. That's playing on tempo in a sense. So they do get it. They do get the Baron. They are going to be able to set up to siege on 2 lanes here, and they didn't really commit a lot. They still have culling. They still have Moonfall, so they can actually look to potentially set up another fight, or at least try and play counter engage here if the Tristana, if the Leona goes in here. And Kimmy, you can see flirting on the edges of the fight, but it looks like they're going to lose a lot of base here for the Smite team.
Yeah, this season has been a lot of quick finishes after a Baron. We'll have to see if this one goes all the way to the Nexus.
Yes, engage.
The EQ Cataclysm, but Jarvan dies so quickly, and those health bars are not ticking on the side of Emperors. It's already 2-0. The culling in the face. Lucian continues to live, continues to kite. 2 low health bars on the chase, but here comes the Smolder. He's got the execute, and it's going to be the 2-for-3 in favor of Emperors. That was the last stand. That was the fight picked on the timer of Smite, and they still just couldn't convert.
We'll see if they can get anything more out of this. I don't think they quite have the waves. The wave cut by the Singe is going to be a big deal, but wave pushing in bot definitely going to help them get some damage. But the big thing in that fight was just how little resources they had to commit to get the Baron, and that Moonfall being the big thing. Leona only gets to play one way, and that is going all into the fight, and that just puts her in threat of the Moonfall. And then once that initial engage is disrupted, then everyone just gets cut down. So now everyone respawning, everyone does take a moment to catch their breath, get their camps, cycle everything, and we look to do it again, as it is the mid lane open for Smite, and they can just start to lay siege. Grim Reaper, I don't think you get to be here. Does he have ult? He does.
I mean, this is just the cross map. You're getting the attention right. Even if Scion dies here, that's Mountain Soul Point coming through. And look at that, he's unstoppable. The onslaught of his hard to stop. So that's just a clean macro decision coming through from the Emperors there. They get everything they want, and it feels like we're stepping up, you know, towards the gallows on the side of Smite, unfortunately.
Yeah, once again, just like our game one, it does feel like they've been choked out of this game. Smolder stacks are online. The Diana has the 3 out of Spike. It's the Bruiser build, so very tanky, does a lot of damage, and very happy to be the person pulling the trigger. But at this point in the game, just like that last fight, they do not need to be the person pulling the trigger. They can just sit back. They can just throw stuff at their opponents. They can grind out the towers with the Baron, and it's just, as you said, it's the noose closing. The only difference maker I can see potentially would be Kimmy finding the backline. See if they can pull it off, because this has to be their chance.
Yeah, here comes the chase down, but the Braum shield actually blocking the sticky residue from Sindh there means no slow, no chance of a chase down, and in the straight up front to back, Smite just doesn't have a chance here, so it's going to be a continuing advancement on 2 sides, 2 lanes being played. That's 1 inhib down, and Grim Reaper is going to try and make it a 3rd in short order.
Yeah, complete base invasion here, and Wave waiting on top side. Engage attempt around you.
Yeah, but it's just not going to find anything. That's the first. It's already 1 down. Singe can run in the backline and make some low health bars, so Matthew will find the support. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be, but look at Envy as he gets shut down! The Syndra burst, the execute, the ticking has finally come through. Who was I to say this champion doesn't scale?
They find the 2 carries. It's this Syndra with the execute damage. They were able to blow up the Smolder early in the fight. Grim Reaper is eventually going to die, or he's just going to ult away. He's going to walk away. He's basically unkillable at this stage of the game, but they find the 2 carries, and that shuts down the play. It shuts down the siege and gives them precious breathing room. Now, it's a question of what they can do with this. Need to push out their waves, need to just reset on the map, and look to be ready for this dragon, which is going to spawn 250, Baron spawning in 135. I don't think you have quite the time to set up for it. Maybe get some vision set up into the pit and around the pit, but that's about all you can get. And maybe just make sure that if they can take the position, then you are the team with the Syndra, that you are forcing a face check into you. And I mean, what is the face check? It's a Braum. That's chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's chill.
I think it's a difficult proposition no matter how you slice it. I keep looking at Grim Reaper. No deaths on the Scion. That's like some dark
chunky.
arts, arcane magic. Do you know how hard it is to not die on Scion? You're supposed to die on Scion.
It's like how he works. They're setting up a trap here. Also, I love the the force of nature itemization. Just makes him so fast when he actually gets engaged on. He's able to just walk out of a lot of these situations, and looking to clamp on the top side. Need someone, I think, pushing that mid lane to sync it up, but for now, just content to apply the pressure.
Yeah, as long as they stick around in this topside jungle, maybe they're thinking they can get some vision down and just control the area around Baron. They were going for a bit of a vision play, it seemed like you were talking about, trying to find that face check, first out and a quick end to the game, but they know time's on their side, they have the soul point, they have full control over the topside jungle, and there's the engage. It's going to be, once again, Jarvan dying first, and this time there are no return kills, as it will be the side of Smite retreating. A little bit of poke back, the heals are around, and that's just the 1 for nothing. With objectives coming up, it's full control for Emperors.
Yeah, that's it. They're probably going to get the Baron off this one. Grim Reaper could just sit in the base and potentially not die. We'll see if he actually does get, if they have any damage to do even a quarter of his health bar at this point, which they absolutely do not. Even Lasser wants to join in on the fun. Has to be careful of Syndra, but they will have Baron up and available, and as we were talking about, right, it's the skipping of the fundamentals, whereas the Emperors, and this is a team made up of at least a couple of players, I have seen Butterfly around as well, who have been around this sort of tier of competitive League of Legends for a while, so they know how to operate in these situations, they know when to set up traps, they know where the vision can be set up, and in that particular particular instance, they knew exactly what the play was going to be from Smite, and they just read it perfectly. And yeah, Grim Reaper, I don't think he's ever going to get below half health. I think that this is it. This is his life now. If he gets a Warmogs...
That's why sometimes you see a Singe dancing next to the base gate, because what else are you gonna do when the Scion is this unkillable? I respect it immensely. You gotta be able to keep a positive mental in situations where you're about to go 0-6, you're about to be 0-3 in series score on the season. You gotta do something to keep the mood up, and I think dancing on Singe is a great way to do it, but it looks like it might finally be the last tier 3 to fall, as Grim Reaper is
Will
just
he
a
die?
raid boss here. If he's gonna die, it's gonna be now. The shield procs, and finally the shutdown comes in, but it's the Sparran, it's the Mountain Soul gotten in the meantime. It's the play we've seen all game, as that split push just bought so much time for the rest of the team.
He had ultimate, I think, so after the flash there was a moment of doubt, but he does eventually die, but again, it's all about the time he bought, and the siege in the mid lane, Kimivella running around. This is the one player I thought who could have been a difference maker. You could see that ghost play about 10-15 minutes ago, which actually did better than some fruit, but now siege in the top lane, the inhibit is going to go down. Just have to be careful and engage,
SMITE's
but
gotta make their move while it's 5v4. The engage comes in. Here's the damage. The Moonfall hits the back line, though. Once again, Andrew is the first to fall, and even in the 5v4, it just looks like they can't quite balance it out. The culling not going to really connect with much, as Kimivella doing desperately what they can here on the Singe, but it's just not a high damage output, burst kind of champion. Although, it's going to be some deaths in the backline with the damage over time, and now it's going to be the root as well. Lucian can't jump away from that, and alright, it's the base defense.
alright, we extend play just a little bit. The Syndra putting in the work, definitely, finding the targets, and I had concerns because they didn't quite have the Scion in position, and yes, the Moonfall hit, but in the previous fights, the Moonfall has been used as kind of that disruption tool, and Grim Reaper, his health bar is a solid block.
That was a fun
That was
spectator
weird,
bug.
yeah.
Snapped over to the other side of the minion wave, but this is a problem. I look at this Scion, I look at 2 inhib down, 1 inhib bear, and I think to myself, we can't ever leave this base.
No, and there is going to be an Elder spawning, like Baron, 3 minutes. We can have those conversations, sure, but I don't know if we even get there because you just regroup. You've got a brick wall that's also last hitting in the mid lane with a, like, here's a reference here's a reference for you, a Walmart barcode of a health bar. Fun fact, my sister works at Walmart, she lives in Canada.
I don't shop at Walmart
No?
because I'm not
'Cause you're not-
American, apparently.
Really?
I don't engage in our national pastime.
And also, you seem way too sane for that. From what I've heard about Walmart, it's a place where people do this sort of behavior.
Yeah, they do insane things like try and force the fight for no reason. 5v5 against the unkillable Scion, and I think that's going to be all she wrote, as the Cataclysm will lock up Butterfly for a little bit, but Diana continues moving forward, and even if she falls, it just doesn't look like there's enough left to stop what's going to be inevitable, as it will be Emperor's a little sloppy, 10 minutes longer than last time, dying on the Nexus, but getting the Nexus.
It's all about having fun, I think, in the end. They definitely did look like they were having fun. I think Grim Reaper especially. Having the most fun on the game when you get to be this incredibly tanky Scion, and they will get it done in the end. Let me change my talking screen. There we go. They get it done 2-0, and unfortunately for SMITE, their chances of making playoffs are definitely dwindling. Their chances of getting a win in this group, I think we have about 2 more weeks of play. I mean, maybe a mod can correct me. Unfortunately, also dwindling.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough, but there were definitely the bright spots. I think the early games, like up to level 4 or 5 in both games, fairly competitive. Their laning was not terrible, and they capitalized on the mistakes that Emperor's made to a certain extent. They dragged this game out a fairly long time. I think the inevitability of the draft kind of put them, set up to fail. Once that Scion, that Smolder got too far ahead, there wasn't really anything you were going to be able to do to stop them, but I would not be too disheartened if I was SMITE. I think there were some things to latch onto as good signs. I think you look at what you need to improve, which is, taking that lead and running with it, but certainly an entertaining series from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw some moments of hope from them, and I think that if you just keep working on them, and again, it's worth stressing that between Envy and Lasser and Butterfly at the very least, this is a relatively experienced roster. I mean, Lasser was trying out for LCP, OPL teams at one stage, and did reasonably well from what I've heard. So, yeah, he's been up there. He played in he's played in a lot of the sort of semi-pro tournaments throughout the years. So, definitely the experience is there. So, not a bad showing considering that. I think they just really need to work on, as you said, just capitalizing on those opportunities and kind of having a game plan going into the fight, because it felt like a lot of the time they were just pulling the go button because they could. Whereas the one fight that did kind of work, it was a Singed finding the backline before anything else really happened, and then they were able to just work their way through the fight by kind of playing off that chaos. So there are signs, but this has been a lot of fun. The second time casting with an American, and yeah, cool.
You can't see it, but I just gave a very I can't think of an adjective.
Patriotic
Not
salute, I hope.
sarcastic, an appreciative little my best little patriotic salute.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the praise. I'm glad you had fun. I had a lot of fun as well visiting you guys down here in the Oceanic Backyard League. I think that will do it for us for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Weapon, for providing the very hard job of color casting and streaming at the same time.
Oh.
It's really appreciated.
Oh my
god. We will see you folks tomorrow at 7:30.
Catch you later.
Be well.